Hi everybody, welcome to Author Showcase. This is where we interview people who are making a difference through the written word and spoken word in Oshkosh and the surrounding areas. I'm Bill Gillard, I'm an English professor at UWO. Happy to be here. With me is Dixie Jo Jarko, who is a published author, and the third member of our team, Tom Cannon. He's working the board today. You can find our show on Local Access TV Channel 2 here in Oshkosh, and also on our YouTube channel, which is Author Showcase of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Please help us reach viewers by spreading the word. Please like our videos on YouTube and leave comments. Our writers would love to hear some feedback. Today, we're talking to Audrey Lynden. Audrey writes contemporary romances and sets them in her beautiful home state of Wisconsin. There are always fun happenings, interesting histories, quirky traditions that happen in the many charming towns around the state, and they happily find their way into her stories. She's a mom to 3 incredible sons, has a Hollywood crush on her husband. He was once described as looking like a combination of Noth and George Clooney, and he's never forgotten. Does he let you forget that? Their home has always included a menagerie of pets, most recently a couple of dogs, hamsters, birds, frogs, turtles. Great to have you here, Audrey.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me. This is great.
And Audrey is your pen name, correct?
Correct. Audrey is my pen name. My actual name is Trisha Quinnis.
Okay.
So I do answer to Trisha or Audrey.
Okay. So why a pen name? How did that come about?
Well, that's a good story. I had, my first book was published in 2012. That was my Just Desserts book. Mm-hmm. And that was under the name Trisha Quinnis. And then in 2020, I finally got the call from an agent. And so they suggested that once my book would be going on submission, it would be better to have a name that was a debut. Like, your book is a debut, so would you come up with a pen name?
That's how that works.
So I spent a lot of time working on it. I had, here's the ABCs of my Audrey Lynden. It's Audrey for Audrey Hepburn, Lynden for, there's a flower called linden that blooms and is very scented in the evening. The initials were A.L., which is my father's first name is Al. And then Lynden, L-Y-N, is my middle name is Lynn. And when I asked my mother why it was only one N, she said, because I forgot the other N. So, and that's what it was on my birth certificate. So that's how I came up with the name.
Wow.
I put a lot of thought into it.
So tell us about yourself and your journey as a writer. When did you decide to start writing?
I think I started, I'm a huge library freak. I love it. I love libraries, and a huge reader. I don't think I really wrote until I was in college. I started at UW-Eau Claire and I finished up in Milwaukee in journalism. So then I was writing that kind of writing. It was a little different, a lot different. And then I worked in advertising, so I was doing writing for descriptions and things like that, copywriting, copy editing. And then I worked at the art museum where I was writing the catalogs for the art galleries, for the shows, the exhibits. But it wasn't until about 2010 that I just really wanted to write a book. And I wanted to write a romance because I fell in love with reading again, because I kind of feel like you drop off the reading after college. You kind of drop off the reading boat.
Yeah.
You know, you always sort of, like, you've spent four years reading and studying and looking at all those textbooks, and so reading for fun sort of dropped off. And then once I was kind of settled, married, had some kids, I was like, I want to read for fun again. Like, this is really fun. So I was doing a lot of that when my kids were younger, and then in 2010, when my youngest was able to like make his own breakfast, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I just started writing and trying to figure out how to get published. Like it's this huge ball of information that I had no clue about at the time. And back then there weren't websites that could help you or any of that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you know, I teach writing, and I teach creative writing. I teach like freshman composition, stuff like that. And it's a whole different way of reading, and it's a whole different way of engaging with the written word. Mm-hmm. And I immediately thought of your career in journalism. That was a completely like other way. It's words on a page,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a different garage in your brain that gets to it.
Completely.
Yeah, can you talk about that? Because I think my working theory that I've developed in the last 30 seconds is that is that journalism and for me sometimes teaching pushes that creative part back, and even like the joyful reading of discovery back, because it's a job.
Right.
And it crowds out other things. Is that
Yeah.
maybe I'm projecting? What do you?
Well, and I honestly, at that time in my life, I'm very, I mean, I was just shy and quiet, and I remember thinking to myself, I can't believe I went into journalism. Like, I don't like to talk to people. What was I thinking? You know, but it pushed myself. I actually tried to be, you know, I think that was part of the reason why I did it, was because it kind of forced me to get out there and talk to people. But it didn't make me like it any better. I mean, so I learned how to write that way, where it was short, get to the point first. There were all those elements. And then I kind of gradually, it wasn't fun. You know, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, back then, I mean, we're going way back, I was just going to city council meetings and that sort of thing, which, of course, wasn't my jam at the time. I was all into fashion and music and everything. So, anyway, so that's kind of why I switched into advertising, where it kind of gave me a little lengthier, like I could be a little bit more creative. And then, of course, then with the art museum was where my creativity was like, I was really wanted to write more. My husband's an artist, so he knows how to express himself on a canvas, and I liked to express myself on a piece of paper with pen and pencil.
Did the advertising job, has that affected your fiction at all? And
Yes.
the reason I've written a lot about Robert Bloch, a Wisconsin author, and he wrote Psycho.
Okay.
When he was just starting out after high school, he got a job in an advertising firm, and he was writing copy of like about new refrigerators and things
Sure.
like that. And then like a refrigerator would like appear in one of his short stories, because he was writing around thinking about it and be like, that could go well in a horror story. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
so he wrote Psycho,
Yeah,
which I literally just realized was what you know, the movie was based on, which
Oh, yeah.
Ed Gein. I never knew that. I just learned that. I'm 62.
And he wrote it in Wyowega while he was living in Wyowega, which is not far from where we're sitting
That's
right now.
right.
Yeah, imagine
Wyowega
that.
cheese.
Yeah.
I know my cheeses. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's just a regular
That is
small town in
wild.
Wisconsin, the origin of Psycho.
Yeah.
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 But anyway, yeah. So he
So-
used that as a bit of inspiration to draw from, and he went into horror and suspense and thrillers and all that, and years of romance.
Yeah. Well, I can say that when I worked in advertising, I lived in Chicago, and I was at this ad agency called Haddon Ad Agency many moons ago, and my friends, I had a whole different group of friends, and they were from Wisconsin, but they would always go up to Door County during the summer. So that was why these friends of mine, there were 3 British brothers that moved here from England
so
to the
that's the three
States.
Brits.
And they moved to Chicago, and then they always went up to Door County every summer. And so that was, while I was working in advertising, I knew these 3 guys, and that was what inspired my Britt Brothers series.
So you and your 3 boyfriends would go to Door County.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I actually did a semester abroad in London, and so that was where I kind of had my Anglophile moment. And,
Nice.
And it has lasted many, many years. So
Nice.
I love traveling.
Oh, yeah. How do you travel with all the animals, though?
Yeah, well, luckily, I'm very lucky now because my youngest son moved back home which we all have to do once in a while.
Yeah.
And so he's there to take care of the pets.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell I'm looking for a pet sitter?
Yeah, I love that. He's
So the
good.
Brits came from an experience you had like during several
During college
Yeah.
with my semester in London, and then I did have an English boyfriend. Yes, many moons. Don't tell my husband. And many moons ago. So it was that experience that just opened my mind, and I loved being there. And it was just a wonderful experience. I'm really glad. I'm glad that my 3 sons have all been able to travel too, so that's great.
And you also have a connection to the art world because this latest book is The Artful Bargain, is kind of about art world,
Right.
and a heist, and
Right.
it's got all sorts of
Yeah.
things
Yeah, that
going
was
on.
my first book that when I started getting into this publishing business, which was so new and different, it's a tough gig.
different skill set than writing.
Yes. I love the writing. I could just sit and write.
Yeah.
But the whole business part, yeah, that's kind
hear
of
that
a
a lot.
challenge.
Yeah.
So the first book was The Artful Bargain, and I based it on my experience from working at the Art Museum in Milwaukee. This was a long time ago, where it was before they put the Calatrava edition onto it on the lakefront in Milwaukee. And it was a really great experience. I worked in the retail shop, and I loved it, and I loved the art. I didn't really like my boss, so after
can't have
I moved
everything.
on to my other adventures, there was this element. I love heists, and there's an old movie called The Thomas Crown Affair, which
yeah.
I absolutely love.
Yeah.
I love both versions, and so when I was completely enamored with that movie, I had this idea of putting a heist in, and then when I wanted to start writing, I started writing this story about a person that worked at an art museum, and then it snowballed from there, really. It really did. At the time, I was working on that first chapter because that's what you have to send. You have to, like, the first page.
Yeah.
There are many hours that I spent on that first page. And to finish the book, it was monumental. But that book is what I used when I went to every single writers' conference, when I went to pitch, when I did all of the conference workshops. I worked on that page, which
Wow.
then it did finally turn into a chapter, and then it finally turned into a book.
So
And
you didn't have the book written before you went and shopped it around? You just did the first page?
I did have the book completed, but
Okay.
it seemed like every conference I went to, they only asked for
Oh, yeah.
maybe a page or maybe the first 25 pages. So at that point, I got a little tired of working on this one book, The Artful Bargain, so I set that aside,
Yeah.
and I started working on something new. And that was when I started writing To Sense of Passion. And that was the second British Brother. And so then I started working on that, and I got that finished, and then it just took a decade, 10 years, from 2010 to 2020. I finally got the agent in 2020.
And you won an
For
award on
this
that book, too.
This book, The Artful Bargain, from the Midwest Independent Publishers Association, I received the Silver Award. And then To Sense of Passion, I received the Gold Award from MIPA.
Nice. It's
It-
impressive.
It was I'm very, very proud of the work, and I'm very happy that all 3 books are in the world.
So your dessert series was first. I was kind of hoping that was last because what a neat idea. Tell us about
That
The
was my
lemon.
very first book, and it was originally called Just Desserts, and then I renamed it to Lemon Tart. And now I'm using it as a magnet on my website or on my newsletter. That is my first book. It was published by a small publisher. I don't even remember the name. And that one took place in Lake Geneva. And that, I think, kind of spurred my whole love of my state, because I'm from Milwaukee, go to Door County. I absolutely adore our state.
And people love to read about our state.
I agree. I think it's so, people tell me that they've read it. I did an event up in Bailey's Harbor. People were very excited. They bought, because this book is all Bailey's Harbor.
Oh, okay.
This one is Milwaukee and Sheboygan. And then this one is Bailey's Harbor and Elkhart Lake for Road America.
Huh.
And
So are you going to go back to the dessert series,
I
or?
don't know if I will. I actually have a second book in that series that's sitting in my computer. I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
So what does your writing process look like?
I write in the morning, early morning. I love getting up early and just getting it out of the way. And then I don't like to be in my head too much. So by noon, I'm hungry and tired, and then I'll just go and do whatever I do, like living in the world, not in my head world.
Do you wake up with ideas? Do you emerge
Yes.
from dreams just like, I got to get it out?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
And I have a notebook, and I write ideas down. If I just read something or think of something, I have to write it down because I know I'll forget it.
Yeah, that's an amazing way to live. Noel Coward, who is a playwright more than 100 years ago, he was known as just like a party animal.
Yes.
But he had that like 6 to noon every day he wrote, and he was very prolific. But afternoon, it was just...
It was done.
You're done.
Yeah,
You're done.
and he was out with friends, like, and everybody thought like, really, you're an author? Like, really? Like, when do you write?
You have to
before
fill the
you
well
wake up.
somehow. You have
Yes.
to. You can't. I can't write and then I'm exhausted and then I have to refill it by being part of my family and part of my doing things and experiences. That's how I refill my well, because I put so much of it onto the paper. I get drained and then I need to refill it by being part of life, I guess, is how I think about it. I don't think I can party as hard as Noel, though.
Not anymore.
So to change gears a little bit, and Dixie and I both published books, and we recognize that the book world, the market, puts us under pressure to kind of conform to genre expectations. And what strikes me about your output is that you know genres well, but you have no trouble blending them, coloring outside the lines,
Yeah, they're
kind of
not
going
just
where the
romance.
story takes you.
Yeah.
They're a
How do,
heist.
how do you navigate that, working with an agent, working with a publisher who might say, like, stay in your lane, right?
Oh, I know.
How do you navigate that?
First of all, I did have an agent, but I no longer have an agent. And I separated, it was very amicable, nothing big. It's just that I knew I was getting older and this publishing process could take a long time. And I knew that I take a day at a time. I wanted to get my books out into the world. So I parted ways with her. And that led me to, because actually when I did get that agent, she picked up this book. She picked up that second book. And so then I was relieved, terrified, but relieved, because then I could publish the first book. And then I could, if I did it my own way, I can publish it. And I struggled a long time because I'd have people say, oh, well, you're contemporary romance. Oh, no, you're women's fiction. Oh, no, you're women's fiction with romantic elements. And in the beginning,
And crime thriller mixed in.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got a heist in there, but I don't have any dead bodies, so I can't really call it a mystery, right? So it was a little overwhelming. So finally, it was a relief to separate from, because she did take this book to market, and then it was on submission. It passed. They passed, which is fine, because actually, while this book was on submission, I wrote this book. So.
You're doing something.
Yeah, so
waiting.
because it took my mind off of it. And now I am fully invested that I am women's fiction and romantic, and I'm women's fiction, romantic, contemporary romance.
Yeah.
And mystery. I'm all of the above.
Yeah.
And I do feel strongly about the romantic element being a part of second chances and hope and happily for nows, like giving people hope to escape into a book that ends happily. I feel strongly about that in all my books, but I always love to have a little mystery and a little bit of the heist element and that sort of thing.
And talk about your covers. Those are very unusual.
They're
beautiful.
Thank you.
How did you?
I found an artist. Her name is Sarah Hansen, and she works. Her company is OK Creations. and she's in the Chicago area. And how I found her was that I just went online, I looked at some of the books that I liked their covers, and then I looked through the sampling on Amazon of who the covers were done by, and I found her name. And then I connected with her. And this was long before, this was a long time ago. So like 6 years ago. And then I just signed up for 3. It was like, I signed up for 3 covers and I was like, okay, I gotta do this. Gotta do this. I gotta do this.
And you were saying before we talked where they aren't really romance covers.
They aren't romance. They're not the typical romance covers. They're
beautiful though.
Thank you. I think so. And they have they all are indicative of what's inside in some way, shape, or manner. Mm-hmm.
So you used your experience in the museum, the experience as a journalist, experience kind of all over in advertise. To what extent are you a researcher as well? Are all the stories already between your ears, or do you enjoy doing the research process,
the research.
Even with the settings, with the characters?
Do you outline it, or do you seat of the pants?
Like, did you dive into the Louvre heist recently?
But I wanted to. I was totally into that.
Oh, you were? Well, that's what I meant. All the news, all the like.
So fascinating.
So they had a ladder, and that's it.
Yeah.
They didn't dangle from the cable with the electric eyes. No, it was So that's something that really
that's the stuff
you.
that grabs me, and it's so amazing. I love those stories.
Yeah.
I love lately I've been into my next set of books. I want to actually put a dead body in. So I've been watching a lot of true crime. Gotta say it, and I really love the solving part. I love the puzzles. I love how detectives go out of their way to solve these puzzles. Yeah. I'm always inspired by that because Craig will say, my husband will say to me, you're just always looking at these murder shows. And I'm like, it's not the murder. It's the fact that people care enough that they go out, they don't even know this person, and they spend years of their life
and they take the box home
trying to solve this person's demise. And it's just so interesting to me, and it gives me hope that people do care about what they're doing and they want to help other people.
Mm-hmm. So you just sit down and start writing. You have a vague idea, or you have it all in your mind, or?
I just start with characters. Okay. I love characters. If I have an idea or a what-if question, if I have a what-if question about a person that I know, if I want to change what their reality is, I'll go from there to create a different character, and then the character leads to another character.
So do you have like a book Bible where you keep track of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a clipboard, actually. I love my clipboards.
Yeah. As long as you get something where you write down the eye color and
I use a bulletin board.
With
index cards. With index cards.
I do that too.
Yeah, okay,
I have that on the back of my office door. Yes. I have an old cork bulletin board, and then I have my index cards, and I color code everything.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
So what is your marketing process? Do you have one, or how did that come about?
I wanted the old-fashioned cocktail to be my logo because it's my favorite cocktail. So I put that in there, and then it made sense to call myself.
You are from Wisconsin, after all.
I am. We're from Wisconsin. My books are all from Wisconsin, and I wanted to be called modern romance with an old-fashioned twist.
Yeah.
Because I don't have cell phones and I don't have phones in my books. I mean, minimally. I mean, I feel like my romances are all sort of from my experience, which is a few years back, where you meet people and you talk to people and you hang out, and that's where it all starts.
Not so Tinder-based.
Yes, exactly. So I love that, and that's why I kind of call myself old-fashioned. Plus, I'm always referencing old actors and actresses. Like in my first book, I named my 2 mini dachshunds Fred and Ginger. So whenever I'm out selling my book, and if somebody recognizes, I'm actually quite thrilled that there are people under maybe 30 to 25 that actually know who Fred and Ginger are.
Wow.
I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of that and following up on that, what have you learned in the last 10 years or so in meeting your readers? What have been your observations just finding your public and those like face-to-face interactions, that's different from, sitting alone writing, which we've done. What have you learned?
Yeah, because we're sitting alone so much, it's nice to get out and talk to people, to real people. Like like I have to like remember how to talk. And I this is my first year that I've had 3 books out. And so I pushed a lot this year for my marketing to do events because I do like to talk to people and I do like to talk to readers. I believe reading is the answer to everything.
So how many events have you done?
This year I did, I'd say about 15 events, which is a lot.
It is.
I'm at the end of the year and I'm feeling a little tired, but it's okay. It's okay. It's been fun and I like talking to people about books. I mean, if they don't want my book, I want to know what book they do like. I sometimes get a whole list of recommendations from people. What are you reading? I read recently this book, The Frozen River, and I absolutely adored it. It was a historical, and I was...
Historical's big.
It's just so big.
Yeah.
And that book was fantastic. So I just talk to people about what they're reading, because I just want to know people are reading. People are going to the libraries. People are buying books as gifts. I think they make great gifts. And it's like I said to begin with, I'm a library person. I feel that it's my safe zone. Growing up, it was my safe zone, so it really kept me motivated to read.
So what is your review process like? Do you have beta readers, or do you have a group that, or do you just...
I was very fortunate to have a critique partner, and sadly she passed away this past summer.
Oh, sorry.
So it was kind of a sad moment, but we have been there for each other for 12 years, and we were both at the cusp of our careers where we were both, she was in one direction, I was in the other direction. So, but that was like, I learned so much from her, and she learned from me, and that worked really well. And then as far as getting the books published, I sent all of them to an editor that I found, a proofreader that I found that I use to make sure that I tend to use a lot of commas, so I'm just a little bit more of a comma person. My characters can all sound like Captain Kirk from Star Trek.
Very dramatic.
Yes.
It's hard to find those people that fit with you.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
One thing, and one thing you do well and take a lot of time and care with, and I'm interested for myself, how do you approach creating a setting? And you've set stories in places that you know very well. And you might just say, well, it's Door County. You know that, right? But your readers don't, and you are able to draw out details that bring a setting to life. How did you learn how to do that? Maybe what advice might you have for writers? Like how to create a setting on a page?
I read, I don't remember where I got this piece of advice from, but someone said it's all in the details of all of your senses, the details of all of your senses. So not just visual, but scent, auditory. It's all the different senses and those minor details, which I think once I'm writing, and I love setting. I do love setting.
Yeah.
And I feel very lucky that we have a great setting that's right around me. But I also, my very first try at writing, I remember trying to write a book in Hong Kong. I wanted to, so what I did was this is a long time ago. This is when everybody had dial-up. Dial-up, that was when the interweb was dial-up. And I remember trying to find out, what is it like? Because I'd never been to Hong Kong, I have no clue. So I went into that, I just went online trying to find details about Hong Kong, and it was very interesting to me, and I just stuck on certain details, and I wrote it in probably a chapter, one chapter. I didn't have a plot, I had nothing. I just wanted to write this detail that I learned something new about Hong Kong. So to me, I don't even remember where I got that advice from, but it was always the details. And I really like the second book came about because I went into, my sister lives in Appleton, and there is a lovely candle store called Eco Candle Company, and I walked in, loved, obviously the scent is amazing. Then they have this big tub with all these rubber ducks in it. And I thought, I'm putting that in the book. And I immediately did, and I put that in the book. And then the scents came about just because my sense of smell was just so heightened after I had had my kids.
Oh, okay.
And so I always loved different scents. So it kind of all came together in the book. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, okay.
absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's that rhymes with my advice to my students to there's a tree over there, right? Okay, well you're just starting to describe what it is because what is it? Does it have a sound? Is it a windy day? And you get that from your ears. Does it have a smell? You could tell what season it is from the smell. Is it like the first rain of spring that smells like mud, or is it does it smell like it smells now outside?
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, but all of the senses involved
Absolutely.
to create the experience. Yeah.
And I do try and visualize myself in different situations. Just what is it like? I mean, I still love when I come out and it's the first rain. It's like the rain comes down. I'm like, it smells like rain. I mean, it's
Yes.
just there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like getting that into my stories. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Well, is there anything we've missed? Any advice for new writers?
Just keep writing.
Keep writing.
Just keep writing. I know it's actually, I really feel like writing, no matter whatever your goal is, if you want to be published, you don't even have to want to be published. You can just, it's so cathartic, it's so helpful. It helps you to find your own voice. It helps me, I'll just write stuff down I'm a better writer than I am a speaker, so it helps me process my thoughts when I write them down. And I know that, like, one of the questions you said, like, what piece of advice, did I take? And I remember when I started this journey, I had gotten a lot of advice to the point where I was topped out. Like,
Yeah.
It was just way too much. But one of my favorite writers is Elmer Leonard.
Oh, yeah.
And he writes, just write the things that people want to read. And I thought, that's the only piece of advice that's kind of stuck with me through all this journey.
Sure.
And I'll continue to
And
do
write
that.
what you want to read. I mean,
That's right.
And he does what you said too. He always starts with character,
Yeah.
He does.
and that's what propels the story.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the detail, I mean, it's brilliant, but
I know.
it's the characters that you're just so, even if the character's just like a page or two, like you're invested, you like, oh, I know
care
that
about 'em,
person,
yeah.
you remember them, yeah.
Minimal words and maximum emotional gut punch, just
Good.
amazing. Love him.
Yeah.
Wow, so as you're navigating your new true crime journey,
Yeah.
you have that model. I mean, Elmore Leonard did a lot of that, had a lot of
It's
fun.
in the back of my brain all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, good.
All right. Well, we're talking today with Tricia Quinnes, who is also known as Audrey Lynden. And we thank you for being here today. I'm Dixie Jarko.
And I'm Bill Gillard, and thanks for being here for Author Showcase of Oshkosh. You can find us on Local Access TV Channel 2. Our YouTube channel is Author Showcase of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We'd love to have some feedback from readers, writers, viewers. And thank you very much, Tricia,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thanks for inviting me. This is really lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Author Showcase of Oshkosh with your hosts, Dixie Jo Jarko, Bill Gillard, and Thomas Cannon. We'd love to hear from you, whether you're interested in being a guest on the show, have a question, or want to share your thoughts. Please reach out to us on social media or via email at oshkoshauthorshowcase@gmail.com.